The first witness was Bruce Witkin, a former close friend of Johnny Depp. Mr. Witkin says he witnessed Depp taking drugs and drinking during their 40-year friendship. Mr. Witkin says he had concerns about Depp's health, linked to his drink and substance abuse. Asked if Amber Heard was nice to him, he says yes, she was always nice. He also says, when asked, that Depp is a romantic person. He is asked if he ever witnessed Depp suffering from issues of jealousy, and Mr. Witkin says yes he did. He is asked about Depp's friendship with rock star Marilyn Manson, and tells the court, him and Manson would hit it pretty hard. They would drink and smoke weed. I don't know if Manson did both, but I'd assume he did. He did everything else. Johnny Depp's former close friend Bruce Witkin says he had never seen Depp and Heard physically abuse each other. Mr. Witkin says he once saw a bruise on the top of Heard's arm, and describes it as looking like she was grabbed, with the finger marks. He says he saw it while he was working on a Keith Richards documentary and Depp and Heard came into the studio. He also says on one occasion, possibly in the spring of 2016, he saw Depp with a fat lip during rehearsals for a tour. He says he has previously witnessed Depp taking cocaine, including with Aerosmith lead guitarist Joe Perry, who is in the band Hollywood Vampires with Depp. Johnny Depp's former friend, musician Bruce Witkin, says he has not seen Depp since 2018. He says, "My daughter even got married, and he didn't come." He tells the court Depp believes I stabbed him in the back. The next witness was Tracey Jacobs, Johnny Depp's former talent agent. She describes how representing Depp became far more complicated in the last 10 years he was with her, explaining that was due to his unprofessional behavior. She elaborates, showing up late to set consistently on virtually every movie, I would get yelled at. I never used the words difficult client directly to him, but I said you've got to stop doing this, it's hurting you. And it did. Specifically describing Pirates of the Caribbean 5, Johnny Depp's former talent agent Tracey Jacobs says she twice went to Australia while Depp was filming. It was during this film that Depp had surgery on his fingertip, delaying the production of the film. She's asked if she believes Depp had fundamental issues with anger, and she says yes, and that she believes it worsened over time. She says he became angry when he didn't get what he wanted. She also says he regularly used earpieces to have his lines fed to him while he was filming. Ms. Jacobs asked, "Have you ever seen Depp hit a woman, throw anything at a woman, or in any other way act violently towards a woman?" She says no. She also says other than Amber Heard, she hasn't heard of any other women accusing Depp of violence. She says she has never seen injuries on Heard. Ms. Jacobs is asked about a message in which she says something is good news, and says she was talking about obtaining money for Depp. She explains, "We were able to help Depp out when he was in financial desperation. We were able to secure a loan for him through Bank of America." She is asked about his fees for various movies, and says for Murder on the Orient Express, he was paid $5 million for 4 consecutive weeks plus a good back-end deal. For Pirates of the Caribbean 5, she says he was paid $25 million with the back-end. Back-end is referring to extra money being paid in line with ticket sales, merchandise, etc. Next witness was Johnny Depp's former business manager Joel Mandel. He goes on, "It became clear to me the use of alcohol and drugs was a daily event." He says it was hard to find good days and good parts of days to arrange meetings to discuss what they needed to. He says he does believe Depp had periods of sobriety, but can't say exactly when that was. Describing Depp's behavior, Mr. Mandel says, Depp became increasingly less constrained, less concerned if he was going to upset someone's feelings, just increasingly comfortable with venting in an aggressive way when he was upset or disappointed about something. He says that was from 2010, and increased up until around 2015, when it became very difficult to work with Depp. He says the two parted company in 2016. He confirms Depp used profanity during their exchanges. He also says that from 2010, Depp's spending increased and became more extravagant, talking about how much various members of Depp's staff were paid. He says Depp's security team member Kevin Murphy was paid about $250,000 per year, while another security member, the late Jerry Judge, was paid $10,000 per day. Earlier in his testimony, he said he believed Dr. Kipper, Depp's private physician, was paid $100,000 per month. He goes on, "I don't recall writing large charity checks. It was more his style to show up at an event, or lend his name to something, rather than write a check." He says one of Depp's big expenditures was prescription drugs, and that there were periods of time when fees for prescription drugs was very high, thousands of dollars a month. The next witness was Adam Waldman, who is Johnny Depp's attorney. Mr. Waldman confirms he did not meet Depp until after his relationship with Heard has finished, and for that reason he did not witness their behavior within the relationship directly. He confirms Depp has filed a number of lawsuits since he began representing him. He is asked about the publication of an article in the magazine Rolling Stone in June 2018. Mr. Waldman says he was present for some of the interview Depp did for that article. He says he is not sure if it was published before or after Depp sued the Sun newspaper in the summer of 2020. The article is described as highlighting injustice being done to Depp's reputation. Adam Waldman, Johnny Depp's attorney, was being asked about passages from 3 male online articles, all published in July 2020. The first says, Amber Heard and her friends in the media use fake sexual violence allegations as both a sword and shield, depending on their needs. They have selected some of her sexual violence hoax facts as the sword, inflicting them on the public and Mr. Depp. A second article contains quotes from Mr. Waldman in which he calls Heard's abuse claims an ambush and a hoax. Mr. Waldman says there are numerous witnesses, both neutral and those who gave evidence on behalf of Amber Heard and Johnny Depp, who testified the actress had no visible injuries on her face after Johnny Depp allegedly threw a phone at her in a dispute on the 21st of May 2016. We now have a new witness, who is giving evidence via a recorded deposition. Maria Sadanaga is a lab detective and domestic violence coordinator. If there is any cause to suspect domestic violence has taken place, an additional domestic violence incident report is meant to be filled out and is required by state law. If they believe domestic violence has taken place, no such report was filled out when the police visited Depp's home, and the duty officers on the scene took no photos of the scene. They recorded no crime had been committed. Our next witness was Ron Schnell. He is a social media forensic expert. He says he's a director at Barclay Research Group. Mr. Schnell analyzed data from Twitter ARPA's Application Programming Intelligence between April 2020 and January 2021. He says he found lots of negative tweets about Amber Heard, and the majority used one of 4 specific hashtags. He says these hashtags were negative hashtags and pretty rude about Heard, sharing his data. Social media forensic expert Ron Schnell tells the court about some of the negative hashtags he found about actress Amber Heard between April 2020 and January 2021. They include hashtag We Just Don't Like You Amber, hashtag Amber Turd, hashtag Amber Heard is an abuser. He says the majority of messages also contained the words hoax, fraud, fake. Around a quarter also made mention of Johnny Depp's attorney, Adam Waldman, who gave testimony in court today in a recorded deposition. He says he removed data concerning hashtag Justice for Johnny Depp from a graph he presented, as it was overwhelming the data because the majority of negative tweets contained that hashtag. The next witness was Michelle Mulroney, Amber Heard's former attorney. Ms. Mulroney says one day, during negotiation over the proposed prenuptial agreement, Depp called her on the phone. She says he was very mean, called me names and fired me. She says he was slurring, and she believed him to be drunk. She says one specific profanity she can remember from the call is that he called me a bitch. She goes on, I was very rattled by the call. I was on the call for a very short time. I told him I had to hang up after a few minutes. It took me off guard. It really shook me up. She says there is no doubt in her mind it was Depp on the phone. The next witness was Tina Newman, who is a Disney production executive, and says she works in the live-action department. Disney production executive Tina Newman, who works on the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, is being questioned about her knowledge of Amber Heard's Washington Post op-ed, over which this case has been brought. She says she has no knowledge of the op-ed and didn't see it at the time. She says it has never been mentioned in any discussions at Disney. She is asked whether Depp will be in Pirates 6, and says, "I don't know one way or the other. That decision does not fall within my job responsibilities. It's above my pay grade." She says she knows the project is in development at Disney, but nothing more. Disney production executive Tina Newman was asked if she read the Rolling Stones magazine interview Depp did in 2018, talking about the injustice of the abuse claims against him. The article is discussed in a Disney email between herself and other executives. She says, "I must have looked at it," and she also confirms she commented on the article in the email at the time, writing depressing. She is now referred to an article which says Disney has ditched Depp from Pirates 6, and asked if anyone at Disney has ever said they were not considering Depp for Pirates 6, or any other movie, because of Heard's op-ed from 2016. She says no, she has not. Next, Depp's former girlfriend, actress Ellen Barkin, gives evidence, talking about Depp's use of alcohol and drugs. She says, "He was drunk most of the time," adding, "He was a red wine drinker." She also says he was often high on drugs, including marijuana, cocaine, hallucinogenics. She says he did them in front of her all of the time. He was always drinking or smoking a joint. When asked if Depp ever acted in a way that was out of control, she says, "Yes," elaborating, "He once threw a wine bottle across the hotel room while we were filming Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas." She says that was while filming in Las Vegas. She says it was during a dispute between Depp and his friends and his assistant. "He's just a jealous man, controlling. Where are you going? Who are you with? What are you doing?" Ms. Barkin says she once had a scratch on her back and Depp got very angry and accused me of sleeping with someone else that wasn't him. She says it was very common for him to become jealous and controlling, and that when he did he also became angry and demanding. Dr. Alan Blaustein is a psychologist and doctor, and he is the next witness. He met with Johnny Depp around 18 times. He describes Depp's relationship with Amber Heard as chaotic, adding, "There were lots of ups and downs." He also says there was lots of anger, disappointment and high emotional expression. Dr. Blaustein says during his treatment in 2014 and 2015, he had concerns around Depp's use of the prescription drug Adderall. He says his treatment of Depp ended when Depp went to Australia to film Pirates of the Caribbean in March 2015, and he does not know why Depp stopped coming to see him on his return to America. The lawyer asks if Depp told him about violence and rage in other relationships other than Amber. He says he talked about rage and chaos. "I don't remember anything about violence." The doctor also wrote, "being like mother and psychotic sister." He says this too was a description of Heard, reported to him by Depp. The doctor's notes also seem to point to Heard accusing Depp of being manic during this time. Later notes, written towards the end of 2014, described Depp as being cloudy, which he says probably meant he was a little confused, and less sharp, less alert than normal. He says he noted that he did not believe the actor was suffering from mania or hypomania at the time. Another note says Depp was looking at jealous parts of himself, and the doctor mentions a triggering point he wrote down, which said, "An actress cheated with leading man," seemingly in reference to Heard and Depp's jealousy of her. He says Depp talked about paranoia during that time. A new witness was now Eric George. Mr. George advised Amber Heard about her Washington Post op-ed, and tells Heard's lawyer the actress followed all his legal advice, which he says he gave in good faith. Jessica Kovacevic, who is Amber Heard's former talent agent, was the next witness. Ms. Kovacevic says she helped Heard get the role of Mera in Aquaman. She says Heard had contracts to appear in Justice League and subsequently the first and second Aquaman films. She confirms her salary for the role Mera was $2 million. Ms. Kovacevic says the film studio Warner Brothers cited lack of chemistry between her and Jason Momoa as a reason the role may not be carried into the second film. However, Ms. Kovacevic says Heard's part was eventually reinstated to her. She says Heard lost a lead role in an Amazon Prime film following the negative tweet campaign that was waged against the actress. She is asked if she knows of any specific example of negative press put out by Depp's attorney affecting Heard's career, and she says yes, losing the Amazon movie and also an advertising campaign for shoe company Tod's. She goes on, "No one wants someone who's been accused of being a liar and making things up and abusing someone involved in their project." Amber Heard's former talent agent Jessica Kovacevic tells Heard's lawyer Elaine Breedhoft that the actress has been a spokesperson for cosmetic company L'Oreal since 2018, appearing in their advertising campaigns. However, she confirms that Heard was suspended from their International Women's Day campaign. During her own evidence, Heard also told the court her role with the company has been significantly pared back since her very public split from Johnny Depp. The agent describes what she would have expected Heard's career trajectory to be since appearing in a successful franchise like Aquaman, saying, "When someone was in the most successful film ever released, the natural prog is growth, more films, more work, more money, all of that stuff." Her former agent says Heard has not worked on more than one project a year since appearing in Aquaman, and she would have expected her to appear in more TV and films, and to get more in the way of endorsements. Thank you for watching till the end. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel to see more interesting videos.